G'day everyone, welcome along, welcome to Steelhorse Station. We are heading over to the Oaks. Hope you've all had a lovely week. G'day Mark and John. I am just about organised. We just can watch it take its time to get everything in the right spot. I have not done a great deal since Monday. I've had plenty of things on this week. But I did remember to download the transfer ownership mark. So hopefully if we get to it, I've certainly never used it before. So, and I haven't done any practice or playing with it beforehand, so we'll figure it out as we go along. From what I understand, you've got to place something down to enable it. Is that the gist of it? Let's presumably in it might be a placeable, is it? Tools. Yes, no. Transfer ownership mod. Okay. So, where would be a good place to put that? Got it. Doesn't really matter that much, does it? Is it going to do anything nasty like level land or whatever? If not, on the entrance to a yard, you reckon? Well, we could probably just whack it out the front here, couldn't we? Just sit it beside the... Except that it deleted. Yeah, when they do that. Never mind. Let's just see if we can fix that little mess up. Painting. G'day, Argsy. And Sim Brisco. Welcome in, sir. Might as well take a bow while you're here, Sim Brisco. I've just made a mess in front of one of your sheds, which we'll endeavour to put right if I can figure out which it kind of looks. Maybe with the circle. That doesn't look too out of place. Which brush do you use to get that sort of concrete dusty effect, Sim Brisco? So I put you on the spot, having walked straight in. You're probably at work, no doubt. That other effect is, I must say, I do love the number of ways you've put to that one. That might be that effect. To make it kind of look like and merge stuff in. Cool. So we've got a transfer ownership ability, which we will use a bit later on. The place I thought we would start today, there's a stains in the deco item. Cool. Yes, I did find those before. If I didn't show everybody last week, one of the things that I really like that sort of falls into the attention to detail category is, forget the mods I've loaded, but if we go to the back here, Sim Brisco is included all, just about all. I haven't found any that he hasn't. his deco. That's what I was looking for out the front. His deco items and his objects, so that you can make anything blend in like it's always kind of been there, even if you do something silly, which I tend to do on a fairly frequent basis. So there we go. So this is Penny's Lane, this farm we're on here, and we should switch across to Penny. That would make some sense at this point. So Penny's farm is in reasonable shape, all things considered. There's a bit of equipment scattered around the place. She has a few cows, so let's just take stock, shall we? So we've got 240 cows of varying ages. We've got a little bit of milk being produced. We have the ability to sell that. And the cows have some hay. So the idea is that we'll feed hay to the newly bred, and the milkers will get, we could move those out actually. Put the calves outside, get some fresh air while the weather's good. Let's just back you up over here. Just in the interest, Argsy, of helping you with your download counts, there is a bale storage hiding in one of your variety hiding in the shed here. So that's where we'll be keeping bales. Now, we wanted to move the cow pasture. We want to move those ones 1 month old. We want to select and move them to the cow pasture. Yes, okay. Select. Cow pasture is full at that point. Good. Well, that's what we want. Argsy was saying on his stream last night that I guess you were talking about the Farm Sim mag, which I have not seen, but apparently got a bit of a mention in there along with Mark. So both of their mods cracked it for a feature. Right. So let's see, where is the milk point? It's at the other end of this shed, I think. Make sure we try not to drive over any sheep. Oh, yours was months ago. There you go. Yeah, let's just... There'll be silage over there and milk just here, I'm guessing. Yep, that was a good guess. I've got no idea where to take milk on this map. And I've just managed to load it all in the truck, so now we've got no clue. I'm guessing it's going to be in the farmer's market. Let's have a look. Milk. Good guess. Which is over near the store. Now, I haven't got an auto drive course set up over there, so we'll just send you to the store, and when you arrive, I wouldn't do that to you. I'm Sim Brisco. I know there's an auto drive course done now, but it's such a big map with so many quirks, and I didn't know what order I'd need things. It was easier to, or how it would interact with the 5 farms we've already got, with the potential for more. So I've started building my own, which is working pretty well for me. So if we send the milk guy to the vehicle shop for the minute, that could work. Let's just check. Corner speeds are fine. Excellent. I don't know why it keeps resetting every time. Must be somewhere where I can change that setting. But we'll let him go. So let's see here. Main thing that's got to be done on Penny's map, Penny's farm. So she's just got these grass areas, some of which are fields and some of which aren't. There are 2 fields there. So we just need to be really merging. We'll leave the tracks, of course, but we need to be tidying those up a bit and cutting them, because we've got next to no feed stored up. Where are we here? Manure slurry, but what have I done with your... I'm sure you had some bales. Am I going crazy? Let's have a look here. You have got some bales, but is this part of... No, wrong. It's on your trailer. Interesting. Okay. Well, let's just duck over and see what needs to be done over in the fields. So that's here for when we want to seed something. Looks like we're ready for a cut, actually. This one needs to be turned into a field. Is there going to be a vintage multi-server somewhere? I wouldn't be surprised if I'm Sim Brisco. I don't have any, so I'm playing multi on here, but I'm just running it all in a single PC, which I've never done before, but I don't have any subscriptions to such services. I'm sure give it a little bit of time. Once it gains a bit more traction, there's a reasonable chance of that. Now, what we need to do here is draw a custom field. Because we'll do something like... this. Let's tidy it up as we go. I think. Yes. call that Penny 1. That's understandable, Argsy. So there you go. Farm Sim didn't have to come far to find out the answer to that question. Right. So now we'll do that again. Let's edit that. See how we did. Not particularly well. Sounds like from the chime in my ears that the milk tanker is over at the ready to be sold. Plan is we'll have all sorts on here. Ultimately, but a little less emphasis on the vintage side at the minute because since rescuing their dad's spread, the kids have gotten a bit carried away with having some semblance of early wealth. And let's do you. Try that again. Good. What are you doing? There we go. I always get that the wrong way around. Let's get this quickly set up and then we won't have to worry about it. I did discover after we played a little bit the other day doing that harvest for John's farm, he seems to have ended up with a few too many tractors, and for some reason there's a couple that I intended to be on Ringo's farm or in his part of his contracting business that aren't, so we'll go and sort that out shortly. That's why I put the transfer ownership mod in. What have we got here? Oh, I've extended you a bit too far up the fields. It's just delete you. Did pretty well on that edge. I'm happy with that. Delete you. Now we're going to get into this tree here. Let's try that. Do I get the base of that one? No, you're just going to be difficult, aren't you? I did get a little bit carried away up the top here. Never mind. Nope. Ended up in the pond. Didn't see that on the mini-map. Okay, how are we going to do this? I want this section of grassland in. Let's go there. Put you over here. Ultimately, we might put a pasture on this field a little bit down that track when Penny grows her herd out a little bit. We won't get too fussy about the field definition because it's just to make it easier to be able to... Where is the end of that thing? Come on, should be... Not where I expected, over there somewhere. These ones that are down in the water are going to be hard to get. The fact that the chevron on the top of it changes colour gives you at least half a chance if you can just figure out where it is. Some of the tricky ones. Oh, there he is. Now, come on. Where are you hiding? There you are. Takes more patience than I necessarily have. There you are. Right. What's happening over here? So we want cursor back in the screen. Back to there. Come out to about there. It's just there we go. Almost. What a wonderful tool. How's that looking? That's kind of the... Oops, just a couple of bits here. And... yeah. Might as well not try and mow the path, seeing somebody's gone to the trouble of laying it all. What's that? Don't get too hung up about that corner, I think. Right. View back just a little. So, what we can now do, where's the mowers? The mowers are here. Pull you off there. Actually, it's not a good choice. Ultras. Unless I do it the other way around, isn't it? Yeah, we could do it. Thinking out loud. Not always productive. But the shape of that field probably lends itself a little better to being done with just the front mower. Excellent. And then let's see if we can sort that out. So that's a good start. It found our field. Let's do Let's do 3 headlands. Okay, a little bit of history. That's not necessarily the angle I want to run. Let's try longest edge. I think I just crashed. That's not good. That's not an experience I've had. What have you done to me, Courseplay? Oh no, hang on, we came back. We have recovery, it just didn't like the question. Spoke too soon. It just didn't like the shape of the field. But we can go with... Let's save quickly, he says. That's a good point. Save game. Just in case we have some leaky memory somewhere. Now I go to first waypoint. It wasn't the map, FSB. It may have been my funky field design interacting with the most recent version of Courseplay, but that's about all. And we should be able to do that. It won't necessarily... Yep, that'll work. So we might let Penny run and do that. Let's jump over to... Oops, zoom out. Never need a different button to give me max zoom. Let's go over and get our tanker. We can finish taking the milk. Yes, terribly optimized. That would be right. Not. Am I going the correct direction to the farmer's market? I am. It's right here. Probably should take the opportunity to define a sell point while we're here. Because I'm guessing Penny might be sending the truck across here with some frequency. So we'll just do that while we're passing. I saw the ads for that when I got up this morning. Glad to hear it went well. I must admit, I really like 4X maps. The only 16X I've had any sort of a go at was Renaboo, and they're just a little bit large for me. What am I doing? Can't think and speak. Yes, I saw the horsepower restraint. Them's awfully big fields for that horsepower. What am I doing? It's farmers market, isn't it? Farmers market. Sell. No, I can safely say, well, it wouldn't have been 2 a.m. for me, but it was 2 a.m. It was a horrible time here. Well, not horrible. It ran over into morning time, but I was still sleeping. Let's see. I like to have terrain that's interesting, so yeah, completely flat maps aren't my cup of tea. I think that's why I like this one, because the scenery is fabulous. Okay, so now you can go back to Penny's yard, can't you? With any luck. Yep, that'll work. Let's turn that off. Let's just jump out here. See what we've still got in the yard. Yeah, whose trailer is that? I think that's John's. Oh no, that's one of Ringo's. Got to send the prime mover back, so let's go and do a couple of things for Ringo. And he's got some grass happening. Oh, not John's. Let's go to the correct yard. Visit. You need prime mover off this trailer. I'll send you to the store. Which one's what? Isn't that what I've got on the left-hand side here? I was just going to say, I've probably got to change some settings on it so that I know what I'm doing, which I've never done before. That's an example of what I was talking about the other day. You can go there. You should be able to get out without driving into the wall, maybe, sort of. God only knows where you're going to go. It's in the main setting, you think. Let's have a look. Game settings. Oh, I didn't change those. I just left all of that stuff. Simple inspector. Hard visible. Show all farms. Yes, he says. Let's see what that does. Okay. I thought I did this morning. This is Ringo's truck, but in his bale trailer, or one of them. If we can get, now we're showing 2 farms. Well, that's because there's only 2 farms that have got any activity on at present, because we've only got Ringo and Penny doing something. Come on. Really? Only I could get caught on that. Let's try this one. If it can change pedals faster than my hands can turn the wheel, that's always a good start. That'll do for now. Let's send Ringo's truck back where it belongs. That way I'll know where to find it. Turn the triggers off. Now, if we go across to John's farm, where are we? Over here. We can pick which tractor would. That's the new one. I reckon it's either the favourite. I reckon he would have taken the favourite. So what we want to do is park you in the shed. John certainly has managed to exactly. I'm not sure if you caught all the farm names. Strawberry fields for John, Full on the Hill for Paul, Here Comes the Sun, George, Octopus's Garden, and Penny's Lane. So there you go. I did my best with Google to find song titles that were written by their namesake. Obviously Penny doesn't have one. Now you need to go to Ringo's farm. Now I get a female driver. And now we've got 3 farms listed, and when he gets there, we'll switch. Whoops. Let's try a little slower on the corner. Gosh. Now, the contract that Ringo's got is a baling contract for making silage. Let's have a look where he's up to. That's field 38. So that's a different part of the map than where we were the other day. And this has got a twofold objective. We're trying to make some cash. So over here. Whoop. Where am I? I'm in something. Oh, I'm in the truck from the store. Because I realised that the baler Ringo has couldn't wrap. So, can you get out of here? I don't know if you'll be able to do a U-turn. We'll find out. I haven't given you a parking. I know I'd given you a parking, so maybe I did that. No, I didn't assign it. Okay. Oh, not bad. Better than I expected. No, Coolio. No. Right, so we've mowed. We just need to bale and wrap and deliver, and we'll be able to do that as soon as Ringo's other tractor turns up. Let's jump back. It is all happening. Why do you look like you got stuck? Oh, I forgot to take that pile out. That'd do it every time. I'll need to be in Penny's farm. Let's try that again. What are you doing? Why won't you let me delete that? Didn't swap farms? That would be the reason. Yes. There we go. Works every time. I imagined what I did. So now we need to go back to Ringo. To initiate the transfer, using transfer ownership, which farm do I need to be in? The receiver or the sender? Or doesn't it matter? We haven't seen him yet, so I don't know. FSB. He was working on stuff, so he was working his way through the save games when we were on the stream the other night to find something that worked for him. I need to be in the sender's farm. Right, cool. I can do that. Let's get in there and I thought that might be the case. And if I recall correctly, he only felt he had to go back a couple of hours. But I just wanted to check that we know what the fix is. The fix is take a... Oh, I've got it written down and I didn't put it somewhere where I can see it. A DLSS file, is it? From the save game that works, and copy that into your current save game. Is that the... Am I on the right track? All right, let's jump out of here. Right. So if I... That's the one, right. Okay, well, just give me a second. Let's just do this one transfer at a time. So we want to transfer that to Ringo. Oh, that's all very easy, isn't it? Ah, lovely. And that to Ringo as well. Fantabulous. Oh, couldn't ask for more than that. That was exactly the capability that I wanted. And John can't get in Ringo's tractor now. Yes. Right, so if I, for a second, pull this up, go to just by way of demonstration, and go to desktop. So if we have a look, save game 10 is a single player save. So one of these files is the one we want to density map fruits. Soil sample yields, terrain. I don't recognize off the top of my head which of the... It's not a precision farming one. It's one of these density files, isn't it? FSB, are you able to point us at the correct one? So if you get into a... So this is for anybody that gets into a position where cutting down one of the sacred oaks breaks their save game. You go back in your save game directories to the last working version that you had, and you pick... Sorry. I could see it on the preview screen. And you pick one of these files, and I just can't remember which one it is. Might be growth state, actually. Or is it info layer? It might be info layer. Level 1. 1 minute. Okay, cool. We can come back to it. I just can't remember the file name. Anyway, the essence of the process is you go back to a save game that is working or your original, and you pick this particular file and you copy it into your current save game, and now it'll take the tree state back in time, but it preserves the rest of your save. So that's the essence of the fix. But we'll let Brisco go looking. Meanwhile, we'll go back to farming. So you need to go and get the below. It's my farm, so I can drive the wrong way out the entrance gate. There you can trundle down to field 38. Split shapes. Okay, just hang on a tick. Let's send him on his way. Split shapes. Ah. The only one that did have double S's, and it won't. So that file there is the one you want. And so if this was my broken save, then I would go into my save game backups back. So I'm on save game 10. I'd go back to a version that I knew worked in the last couple of days. I would grab the split shapes file and copy it forward into my current save, and you should be hunky-dory. That's the fix if anybody requires it. But so far, I have not encountered that issue, and I have no intention of doing any sort of meaningful logging. It's really, for the most part, only going to arise if you accidentally pick the wrong tree. So that's just there for people's reference. You can see we're coming. Was one of these houses the one that was yours, Sim Brisco? I couldn't remember it from the map, the directions you gave me to your childhood home. But it was, I thought you said it was in this street or this street. Yeah, that's cool. I left you a Discord, Sim Brisco, because I have been able to change it. In Cantley, it's the first right. So this is Cantley down here, isn't it? Yeah, this is Cantley on this side. Does that make it in that street there? The first house, then the first house on the left. Give us a field reference that's close. Closer to the station. So down near 53. Well, let's go there. Oops, I don't want to do that. Got to get out first. That last road. So, yeah. So am I in the right street now? And is that the house? First left is in street. Oh, that's the house. There you go. Cool. So you saw it here first, folks. The house Brisco grew up in. Childhood swing set and all. It's pretty cool. Not many map makers put their own house in, or childhood house. Hope you had good neighbours. There should be a plaque on the wall. We could do a plaque. Kind of needs like one of those tourist signs, and it needs a little minibus that stops and has a gander. You're gonna have to take that up with Brisco. Now, let's see. So we now have a Bella which has arrived. So let's go around the other way through the gate. $51 going on 25. That sounds like a good deal. My wife stopped counting at 30, so from 30 to 50 she just was 50 became 30-20. And we want to unfold you. What size bales do we want? We'll leave them 220s because they'll get us into less trouble, although I think this wrapper will do to 240s. Let's try putting a pickup down. Rid of that. Whoops. I was filling in a form today and it automatically populated my age, and it's like, that can't be right. It was. Well, that's not fun. Speaking with some experience. Probably in your tree planting finger, FSB. Listen to the unique bird sounds, everybody. You missed one, type out, John. I hadn't stopped to admire the birds until it was either FSG or Argsy's video that talked about the unique sounds you'd popped in. Very cool. So there's a third type, John, called psoriatic. How do I know? Because I discovered just before Christmas that I have it. And it's annoying. So apparently that's psoriatic with a P. I'm going to zoom out a bit and make the tractor quieter. So apparently psoriasis, which is a skin condition for those unfortunate enough to suffer from it, varying degrees of severity, but I've had it all my life. No great drama, more annoying than anything else. Well, in about 20% of that's a classic from Sim Brisco. In about 20% of cases, people with psoriasis can develop psoriatic arthritis, and that is where they don't really understand how it works or what's going on, but it's got something to do with the fact that your immune system says, these perfectly otherwise healthy joints, there must be something wrong, and it attacks them, trying to heal ailments that they don't have, and in the process buggers them up. And it's rather painful when it flares up, and very annoying. But there you go. Yes, we can't make options to turn off everything that people choose to get irritated about. Mind you, the noise on this tractor is just slightly loud. Yeah, I can. I don't want to turn down general noise, so I've got the settings set to the level it's fine. It's just when you pick up a tractor that's particularly loud, I haven't been into the XML for the tractor to modify the mod, because otherwise if I go down that path I find every second mod I'm finding something that I want to change on it. I only do that with Mark's mods. Fractionally underpowered we are. Whoop. We should get a nice few bales for the contract. And with any luck, might have a couple of extras left over to give some silage to Penny so she can mix some BMR. So that'll work. So the big question up for decision is, what are we going to do? And welcome along to anyone that's joined. So I know there's a few people watching in the background there. It's great to have you in. If you've got any questions, we are on the Vintage Oaks. I'm more than happy to show you anything you want to look at or answer any questions you might have. We've also got, as you might see from the chat, Farm Sim Brisco very kindly joining us. Jason, I did see you pop in. Thank you and welcome. But I suspect there are others, which is wonderful. Perfectly acceptable. All stalkers welcome. I was about to say the big decision that the 4 of the Putney kids have, we've blocked the other tractor, okay, have been discussing is what are they going to do about Paul. So if you didn't join us or weren't able to join us the other night, this is the Paul's cat situation is a bit diabolical. We'll go up and have another look at Paul's farm in a little bit. But what this masks the picture, the advantage they've got is they all have the same accountant. So they all know that Paul is now sitting on $5 million of debt, which is basically more than all of the rest of them added together. And combined with the fact that he spends it faster than he earns it, he doesn't also take that much of an interest in his farming. So his farm's not in a great state. So the question is, what are they going to do about it? They're kind of, with 4 of them, they don't want to talk to their parents because it'll distress their parents who are getting on in years, and if anything, Paul's probably a bit more like his dad than any of them would care to admit. But there's a couple of occasional votes for, well, he made the bed, he should lie in it. But then there's the balance by them, well, you can't just let him go down. He was part of the process that led to the fact that they've all got pretty workable farms. As much mess as he might have created, and in fact, to be successful in their operations, they kind of need the crop from the land that he's controlling. He's already let the cows go, which thankfully Penny has more than compensated for. But it's a bit of a conundrum for them, and it won't be an easy road out that far in the hole. Goodness me, are we slipping there at all? Just a bit underpowered. How much does this crone need to pull? 245. That'd be why, because we're probably not got 170. That'd be the reason. Good point. Good point, Jason. There's, I guess, let's have a look here. I mean, none of them have the money with their own debts to leap right in off the bat. And if we go up here, there's 3 fields that he's really got. They're still growing, but as we saw the other day when we had a quick look, we can jump up there now. Let's just jump in. So, you know, when there are a couple of bits and pieces around the yard that there's his toys, but equally there's, you know, some useful equipment. If we jump into his farm, let's have a look. Actually looking in the wrong spot, aren't I? Need to be looking at no, that one. There's a little bit of equipment with some value, but not an awful lot. But there's also some pretty ordinary maintenance on some of the vehicles too. So depending on what they want to do, there's work to be done. Yeah, well, that's a good question. That's a good question. And as you can see, its fields are really just let go to pot. So we're going to get some crop off here potentially. I get the feeling Ringo's in favor of, you know, well, first of all, let's get the crop in. Let's use his equipment to do it. And then potentially, you know, we've got a couple of harvesters here. Maybe we sell one and let Ringo contract using the other. It's kind of a bit of a question of how much reality is he prepared to deal with. Yeah, some good ideas. The good news is there is still cash, at least for the minute. Let's have a look. What's the loan situation? Yeah, 5.2 million. So he's going to go into the red at the end of the month in a do nothing scenario. And the other farm's generating 30 grand a month. That's going to be quite taxing. And we saw from the equipment list, just selling stuff won't go too far. So I think you're right. Yep, that's a good point, Mark. The one thing that all 4 of the kids agree on is they're not interested in any of Mum's money. But Harold, yeah, could play a bit of a role. So let's see. I want to go back there. Yes. Nope, down at George's place. Eventually I'll get back to where I want to be. At least in this position, they do have between them a few different options for generating income. So that's the start. I mean, wouldn't be the first family to go down that sort of path, and certainly they feel better about that than I mean, the last thing any of them want to see is the bank winning, because that was the situation they feel like they spent their teen years sorting out for their dad. So it's a tough bind. And while I think about what do people use for screenshots on multiplayer, because I notice multiplayer's got the tag set that it doesn't, that ProShot's got the tag set that it doesn't support multiplayer. I didn't want to experiment with changing that and potentially breaking it, but it's not a huge issue because I have a workaround. But I thought if there's actually an easy way to do it, it would just help make relevant thumbnails. But thanks for that. There are some good suggestions in that lot. I'm sure we can figure something out that will work. So Ringo does have a bigger tractor. It's just, I can't remember what I've got it doing. Discovered that Ringo had got the poor end of the deal on the tractor distribution. It wasn't, so you might recall, if anyone that watched the first streaming series, so the original farm, which Farm Sim Brisco has very kindly memorialized. So Putney Corner, where are we, is here. So the original farm, the original Putney family going back generations, had quite a big land holding here, and it was just under Harold's stewardship that it had shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. And when we picked up the story on the original Oaks, they owned the field next to the churchyard and what is labelled here as 174, 175, and this was all one field. Now, they were then able to expand a little bit out in this direction. It wasn't quite arranged the way it is now, and they bought this. And at that point, they'd kind of rescued Harold, and that's when Paul and John decided they want to be sort of more versatile, and they plumped for buying the cow farm up the top here and, you know, getting started a bit further away from the family roots. Well, over the last decade, you know, when everyone grew up, John sort of came back a bit closer to home and took the opportunity to buy the house that he's living in now with the pig farm. They got an offer from some townies to buy the Harold and Mars townhouse, old homestead, and they've since renovated that, but they kept all the land. So this spread here, 147, 146, 144, 145, 174 and 175, that's all That's all John's, along with the pig pens that are in here. They had the chickens, you might recall, over this side. And so Penny got involved there, and they don't talk much about it, but there was a bit of a bird flu thing that wiped out the chickens, and they almost lost that. Penny decided she wasn't all that interested, but particularly as Paul started to sell off the cows, she sort of took her share of the family proceeds and an opportunity to buy this block here, which had a couple of houses on it and lots of grassland. And that worked well. She gets on really well with Ringo, and so that's why he took one of the sheds and the silo complex at the front and set up his contracting business. So that's kind of how we came to be here. Because Paul was generally getting up everybody's nose. He was the guy that, you know, sort of moved to the other side of town, so to speak. Helps me with the immersion, Mark. It just feels like on such a big map, it's kind of a reason for doing stuff. So that's the sort of the bridge between the beginning. I know the reason that sort of presented that way is I was actually thinking that there's probably enough material for a 3 or 4 minute video in there with I can potentially resurrect some footage sort of showing the path from the original Oaks to here, sort of the backstory, and then probably a couple of little short follow-up videos on how each of the 5 children have set up their farm. So if anybody's got any interest, they can just sort of have a quick squiz. That'd be Aussie slang for look, if I've confused anybody. Right, we have some. You should do better with the wrapper. I love the way you've done the water farms in Briscoe too. Really good. It's all over the map, but it's not obtrusive. Right, I'm not going to run around and chase those last little bits. Well, there you go. People can subscribe to you, I discovered, just because you've got a YouTube handle. Don't know why they would, but they do. I should have, before I turned that off, I should have done that and emptied. Folding is not, I don't want to fold, I want to unload the bale. Now I can fold. If it's been the puddles that are on farm tracks, are they done in GE or are they decor objects? Let's go round. Just a little bit of a high look there. Ah, okay. Cool. Yeah, it only occurred to me when I was putting Penny's Lane, the cows in, and I thought, oh, a couple of puddles would be handy, and I'd never done puddles before, and I wasn't sure how to go about it. I'll pick you up, you cow. Let me guess, you're the undersized one. It is, it's gorgeous. Let's jump over there while we're at it. Where's... actually, we can jump in Penny's Landy. There's lots of them once you start to explore the map. Cool. Now I've just got to remember which way to go. Where are we here? I want to go right then left. No, left then right. Max price is $12.50, and that's where I tend to aim for, and you reach there inside 2 years. Hang on to your hats, folks. This is a bumpy farm track. It's fabulous. I love it. Let's go inside. All we need are the water drops bouncing up over the bonnet when you hit the wrong puddle, and it would just be sensational. Oops, now I've got to check which way to go. You'd think I'd know the way around here. That way. But you know, you look out the window at that. It's fabulous. What a job. That's some eye you've got, Mr. Brisco. $24 months. Yeah, that sounds about right. We've got pigs up here at John's farm. We can have a look in just a sec. I don't believe any of them are at age yet. I do know as they get into their last sort of 6 months or so, they go through a prodigious amount of food. Now, where are we? We want to go left. Just like us, John. So here's the pig farm here. We've come in the bottom gate. And we're certainly not fully stocked. That's the slurry point. I think I've got to be one road further up the hill, don't I? Between the sheds. So much work went into this yard. Just getting it right so you can move around, have delivered feed to the pens. So I think this is the track you were talking about, John, potentially. I can't remember which way. This way down the hill. A little cut-in creek down there. Little cascade. This is where you're talking about, I think. It's just fabulous. The interesting thing that driving around here made me think of the other day that I hadn't seen yet, it doesn't mean I've seen all of them, but on any British maps is I haven't seen a stile on a hedge. And the only reason that occurred to me is I just remember reading about them and wondering what they were as a kid, reading Famous Five. So there you go. So that's a bit of a tour of the back blocks. If I jump out of here for a second and jump into John, then we can have a look at, so the pigs. So we've got 13 young'uns there, 49 young'uns there. So I didn't buy too many older pigs. I just bought younger ones. So they're only just coming along now. And as you can see, we've got plenty of capacity. I think we've got holding capacity for about 1,000 pigs all up, which I'm not proposing to run necessarily full hog, so to speak, because the food will kill us. I do find the this mod, the animal feed mod, really helpful in just giving you a better way to project what your food consumption is going to be and resisting the temptation, particularly with pigs because they breed so fast, to fill everything up. The other thing, which if you don't recall from the other day that we did on here, is we haven't focused much on him at the moment, but there's the flour and feed factory, which turns the grains in the right ratios into pig food. So I just added a whole heap of variants for all of the things that you can mix with sugar beet to make it easy for the family, regardless of what grains they get in, to generate pig food. And so that's down here at the back of the sugar factory, and the big complex that George has set up, a couple of big silos Felt like it fitted the bill. But we'll get to George in due course. He's really, until he gets some sugar beet in, and these are his fields down here, there's not much he can do right now. He could do some contracts. He could help out driving. But he's also not entirely sure how much he wants to help. Paul? £1 an hour. Ooh. Shovel and muck. That sounds like child labour, FSB. Right, let's go and get on the correct farm. Grant, welcome along, sir. We have, amongst others, FSB in the house. So the first thing he's going to ask, so I'll ask for him, is did you manage to get your save working again? Ah, cool, John. We're going for Penny's Lane just at the minute because I want to there and rescue. That's why we need to replant that grass. Pretty much the rest of the field's done, so why don't we just do this bit while we're here. There's not really much point cutting it because it doesn't leave anything behind. That's why this cedar was sitting down there. We need to bring the plough over and plough this field and then reseed it. Now that we've got everything begun. Okay, so roll back 3 game saves. So we'll just jump in and just for your benefit in case anyone else happens to pick it up this far through. So the fix for the tree issue is to go back to an earlier version that you know works in your save game and grab the split shapes GMSS file and copy that forward to your current save game. And that'll might put back a couple of trees that you've got rid of, but it will allow your broken save to restart. Now, you can always grab that like from a brand new save, like first game on the map. And do it, but that's the file that's getting screwed up when you cut the wrong tree. So if that's any help, that's the way to deal with it that we know of at this stage. So go back. Right. So yes, John, that is the, so in effect what you're doing is you're taking sort of wild, crappy grass, which we're cutting here, and it's not giving us any, because it's decor grass, it's not giving us any produce. You just embedded trees within trees to make them look denser and fuller of shape. They look fantastic. It's just nobody in Giants expected you'd try something like that. And everyone knows you don't cut down oak trees because they're a pain in the ass. So yes, John, is the answer. That grass does look like Paul was looking after, but so what we can now do, in fact, I'll do two things. Because this is a good opportunity to demonstrate something. So this is a foliage plant that's part of one of the giant's foliage things, and I think originally off the US map, and it's got a nasty little side effect in that you can't easily get rid of it. You can't delete it. It doesn't go. If you take a texture like where are we got here? Dirt and paint, it doesn't go away. However, if you take another grass and take it away, it will go. So if you've got a situation where this particular foliage pops up, and this occurs on any maps that use this, it's just this, it's thistleberry, I think is the name of the plant, and it seems to be a very persistent weed. There's also another texture on some giants maps. Exactly. There's 100 different reasons. But anyway, if it's getting in, you can, if you've ploughed in on some ground types, you seem to be able to sow straight over the top of it, so you don't have to paint it out. But for instance, if you put down a building with a concrete floor, this will stay there, and so if it's annoying your OCD, that's the way to get rid of it. I've encountered something similar on other maps, like these twigs where the same thing happens, and it didn't matter, save love and money, you can't paint them out with texture paint, but if you plant something over it, you can make it whatever layer it's sitting in reset. So I'm not too fussed about painting here, because we're going to come and when we've picked up the grass, we'll come and plough this out and finish prepping our field. But need to remember now where I put Penny's baler. I think it's up in the shed at the top, if I'm not mistaken. Although she's probably got enough hay for the minute. We could probably do to give Ringo a call and get him to pick that up and put it in the bunker before he makes the silage. So let's head back. Let's head back. Well, if you get any closer, Grant, to figuring out what the trigger was, I'm interested to know, because it must have been an odd one. And touch wood, I've been having a great run of it on here. The occasional challenge I've had have all been of my own creation. Nothing to do with the map, usually to do with poorly understood mods. Go there, and then there. Probably should have left you bailing on course plate. How much trouble could you get into on this field? Maybe with that creek there, although it's not too deep, but you can pretty much guarantee if I left you running on course play, you'd end up with the bale and the tractor in the creek. This won't take too long. Quite close to the rail line here. Haven't put anything on the railway line yet. I was trying to help a guy a couple of weeks ago who'd very kindly watched the upgradable factories video and was getting not a big mod user and really liked the mod, but was getting stuck experiencing well, what was really hard to diagnose, but I'm thinking it must have been a mod conflict, but it was occasional because of the way I only discovered I could create something similar to what he was describing a bit by accident, but so when it's working properly, upgradable factories is really useful. Because it's a Lua script and it doesn't actually change anything in the game, when it runs, it uses a reference file and it sort of stands in place of the actual definitions for the productions. And that all works fine almost all the time, with only one exception that I've been able to identify, and that is if you are playing along with it, you're quite advanced, so you've got a heap going on in your factories, doesn't matter what, and you load any mods that cause Lua to have a conniption. So typically a mod conflict that with other script mods which breaks Lua. If that occurs before upgradable factories loads, then it in effect starts your game without the upgradable factories definitions in place. And that can, and almost always creates a situation where your factories therefore don't have the upgraded capacity that they thought they had, and that then breaks the productions because they've only got to have one component that's got a higher volume than they're allowed, and it doesn't work properly. So, and it can affect greenhouses, anything that upgradable factories will upgrade. So it just serves to demonstrate. Unfortunately, I couldn't help him, this particular individual, get past his issue because his understanding of mods was a little bit constrained. But it just highlights how you can get yourself a little bit tangled up if you're not completely au fait with how the modified stuff that you're putting in actually works. And the unfortunate part about that symptom is that even if you identify the mod conflict and it had nothing to do with productions, it's possible it broke your save before you realized what the problem was. So it's just a bit of an unfortunate symptom. Getting there. Plenty of pink marshies on the field. Pretty sure Ringo's got a artisan stacker. Actually, what we should do while I think of it, no worries, Argsy. Thanks for popping by. Have a good one. Now, where have I left it? There it is. Speaking of the Genesis, so you just didn't make it back to the farm when I sent you the other day. Let's go back to where we were. What are you doing there? You're stuck behind. Oh. Got a bit of a queue. It's a narrow driveway and I haven't put two-way road sections in. So everybody's queued up waiting for the milk truck to move. Let's put you over there. Can you squeeze through now? Let's get you off the fence. Right. Back down there. Good, 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 good. So, one more in the corner, 4 more to go, plus the little pile at the gate. Looks like someone spilt a bunch of tablets out of an oversized medicine bottle. Big weekend of sport viewing. We've got Olympics beginning, spas on. Goodness me, how will we get any farming done? I am looking forward to Spa. It is probably my favourite racetrack to watch. Yeah, let me just bump you out of the way. Usually you found me easy. Yeah, see, I like the Olympics as well. There's lots of different sports that I quite enjoy watching at the Olympics. You're right, Spa won't take long. They usually manage to get some interesting weather, so I don't know what the forecast is like for the weekend. Right. So we might as well send you back to the farm. I think the interesting part of Spa is going to be to see if Perez can concentrate for a whole weekend. It seems to be the challenge that he's having. And if he doesn't, that will amp up the pressure on Max. So we want to go to Ringo's farm. Wrong place. I want to be over here. So, yeah, so we haven't covered this. So if we put Penny's grass in there, we can make some more silage. Where has... Oh, the Genesis just hasn't got here yet. Why don't you look like you're moving? That's the big problem. Where is the Genesis? Over here? No. Have you crashed into the truck? Yep, that was a good call. Which... part of the road's just a fraction too close. This is the issue when I do my own auto drive. Don't necessarily do a good enough. It. Well, don't want to do that. What are you stuck on? Come on. I have discovered if you've used it, this lime spreader is a bit dodgy. Ah, there you go. The 4-to-1 on Max is pretty good. I think that's a little bit of heart in that bait. I don't think he's that far out of it, especially not at Spa. But what I was about to say, so this this spreader, should have gone. What are you doing? Yeah, try up there. Spreaders. This spreader here, it says it's a 36-meter spread width. Probably is for fertilizer, not for lime. It infers it's the same for both, but it isn't. It's a 12-meter spread. And when you start courseplay with it, courseplay incorrectly detects information about it. So you got to set it up. So just be aware if you, I haven't bothered to look inside the mod to understand what's going on, but it did require some hand holding to get working. Omar. Welcome along, sir. Good to see you. You will need to use English, mate. Let's get rid of that. Let's go there. I need to send you back actually to get. You can take that. Let's park you down the front of the. It'll be as good a spot as. Oh, actually, that'll be. Yeah, let's put you in that corner. And then we can send you back. Up to Paul's to pick up the tray. Yard. Yeah, I've used that 6-ton before. I just thought that at 12-ton, this looked like a good option, and it works. Yeah, the 6-ton is very cheaty for usage. I agree with that. Let's get you out of the way. I was wondering how difficult it would be to remove cutting. So block it completely, is that what you're asking? FSB? Mark you over there next to the lime tank for the minute. That's probably a really good tip, FSB. Lockie probably knows more about trees and cutting than anybody. He would be a really good person to consult. Let's just pop that in there for the moment. Pick up the trailer. Well, that's just... You could experiment with that pretty easily, FSB, because that's just the collision mask. I can't remember which one. Yeah, it's not in the XML, it's in the collision mask for the tree object, because you ever saw Newlands right at the beginning, I had problems because the Newlands map had proliferated trees with an incorrect collision mask, which meant you couldn't run the logs through the chipper. So if you open or if you have a look at the tree object that you've placed in GE and you go to the rigid body collision mask, I can't remember which bit it is that you want to Yeah, but isn't the collision mask saved as a either decimal or hex or the other way round in the XML? Where am I trying to go? I'm trying to go to field 38. I'm thinking about something completely different. Can I get there from here? Possibly. I can't remember off the top of my head. I would have to do some research and look it up. Right, so that collision mask is not the bitmap. It's a decimal number So you need to know, you need to figure out which bit you're trying to change and what that changes the decimal number to, so you can change that. The advantage of potentially doing it in the editor is if there's a way to just globally select all of the particular trees that you want, as long as they all have exactly the same definition, then you can probably just change the bit once and it should get all of them. But yes, you can do the same by going through the XML if you know what you're changing from and to, of course. I still think your first suggestion, I reckon Lockie's the right person to ask. And I've only ever had a couple of interactions with him, but he was exceptionally helpful. I didn't know enough to ask any serious questions at that point. Get out. Right. Well, so this trailer of bales just needs to go up to the BGA, which is at the center of the top of the map behind the carpentry. Yeah, but they're all called special oaks in your transform group, aren't they? Certainly the ones I looked at were. And if that's the case, to Mark's point, you can open the map XML if you know what you're changing, and then you could do just a find and replace, which is what Mark's talking about in the i3D file for all of the trees. Oh, I'm full. Driving around trying to pick up more trees with a full baler. Good job. Thank you, Mark. I can only solve one problem at a time. I've got a boy brain. %, core assignment to FSB's challenge. Right, I do not have auto drive set to the BGA. We're going to wrap it here anyway, John. So the BGA is up here at the top of the map, and that's where this trailer is going. Thank you, everybody, for your company and for watching tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you also for FSB for popping in and participating, answering people's questions. It's much appreciated. And we will be back, all being well, on Monday evening, same time, on this wonderful map, exploring more of the Putney story. So Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. See ya.